Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Curse of the Crimson Throne. Sorry we're starting a bit late. My fault. But if it helps you guys feel better, you can blame Pilts, because why not? Oh, it looks like we went live in time for everyone to see the expansion of Portly. Very nice. How is everyone?
Personally, or
right? Yeah.
I mean, is there another way to ask? Like, professionally, how is everyone doing? No, personally, how's everyone? How was your week?
Better now that I'm here. How about
That's good. That's a great answer.
Any day I get to play D&D is a good day.
I concur. Unless my
I had a
character
great
dies.
week. I hope you're not gonna ruin it.
What?
I don't trust you.
Why would I ever? Honestly, I'm hurt.
Is anybody shocked though?
No, she's a point. It's just funny.
Yeah. It's like no one's saying you're wrong. Alright, let's get Wally in here. Everyone ready? Last session. Conflict. Our heroes, having beaten the dastardly Driders. Already off to a great start. Turn their attentions on Piltswizzle, the Emperor of Old Corvosa. After some conversation, conflict arose in the form of violence. And fire! Lots of fire! Conflict resumed, and the Emperor, during the chaos, managed to escape into the sewers below. Afterwards, trying to lick their wounds and make sense of everything that had just happened, the group decided to engage in just a little bit of necromancy to try and determine their next steps. Unfortunately for them, when they cast Speak with Dead on the drow priest, or wizard, I should denote, very different. They instead talked with a Yakul, a demon of the abyss kind. Wow, I got this. The demon seemed rather upset, annoyed to be sure that it was interrupted, for the soul of the wizard was its to torture, but it did relay a message to the party. Well, specifically to Aros, in the form of spiders that were covering Weary for some reason. I still love that. I have a message for you. Blah, Weary gets covered in spiders. What does this mean? What does it mean indeed? In Oswell, the Yakul also denoted that Robin had killed someone for the Yakul. Is this someone of importance? Will the party find out? There are long conversations to be had back at the orphanage. That's it. I'm done. That's my recap.
Sick.
Beautifully done. Thank you.
Good job.
You don't want to keep going on and on, Frank?
Patting myself on the back for that.
I'm gonna give you inspiration.
Aw, thanks. I really need to start, like, actually writing those down, otherwise I'm never gonna do them justice. So, you all make it back to the orphanage. We'll just say it's a very quiet walk back as you all contemplate the things that have happened and the things you have learned. Baboom, with a comforting arm around Brunhilde's shoulders, whispers quietly to her. And the rain continues to steadily pour down. You guys get back to the orphanage, and as you approach, you see that the door is open.
Just the thing.
Interesting.
Stealth, just the thing. Robin, You stealth quietly into the orphanage, and you see that there's no lights, except for what comes in through the windows. You see an interesting scene before you. Several bees, mini bees, on the floor. Books and furniture tossed and scattered about, with the exception of one kitchen table with dishes set for one person with half-eaten food, Weary's food, on it. You see no people. All you see on the table is a single black rose.
Oh, gosh darn it. Okay, cool. I go back outside and I show myself and I motion all of them inside. I think it's safe.
What happened?
Can we see inside at this point?
Sure.
You see Mary. She looks exhausted. Like, it's been a trying day. And she just looks inside and just takes a deep breath and kind of pinches the bridge of her beak.
I light the inside up with dancing lights. Just to try and brighten it for everyone.
Seeing the rose on the table, Rhea is immediately gonna take off to her room, check if Shala's stuff is there.
You see that as you approach, all the doors are open and everyone's room is, I guess, ransacked is the word you would say. Things are thrown about. Things are disorganized. You get to your room, you see all your stuff and all of Shala's stuff thrown about the room. Shala's clothes ripped and torn on the floor. The case with the violin is intact, but you see, the case is a beautiful case that has a leather covering on it. You don't see any damage to the gemstones or anything like that, but the leather covering seems like it's been cut and stripped, so it looks like vandalism, basically. The violin inside is untouched.
Okay. Well, there's that. You can come back to me because I have to check a thing real quick.
Sure. What about the rest of you?
Mary will step inside and sort of cast an appraising glance around the room. But she will drift over towards the beehive and examine it.
Roll me a nature check, knowledge nature. With advantage, Majenko would help you.
It's not something I get to roll a whole lot.
Instagram isn't letting me in.
How dare it?
It kicked me out.
Why?
This is a name identifying. It's fucking. Why is it not? Okay. Cannot connect to host. Connect to your network. Blah 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 blah.
That's weird.
I've already restarted the program, so no.
If you need to restart your computer, you can come in here.
God damn it.
Well, for now, as you're trying to get back in, Weary, roll me a medicine check as well, please. Oh my.
Rolling like a champ. Well, do I get advantage because
Yes,
here?
you would.
Okay.
Much
That's
better.
Whew.
They are all unconscious. They are unharmed. Except for maybe one or two that look like it's been stepped on. They are not killed. It's as if someone cast a spell on them.
Okay. She will let everybody know that if they step on them, they're in trouble. No, she will start very gently collecting them and placing them back on the hive.
As you start to move them, they start to wake up, start to buzz. Aras, Robin, what about you two?
Ross has kind of, because the stairs upstairs is narrow, she's kind of struggled to put Kitty on her shoulders, supporting her weight fully and making that long 3-flight trek up.
Gotcha.
But it'll be slow going.
Understood.
Robin's gonna make a lap around everywhere. He is going to first kind of help downstairs by putting the chairs back up, table, kind of picking the general things back up off the floor and turning them right side, moving things out of the way. But he's particularly making sure that no traps were left behind or nobody is hiding anywhere. He wants to make an extreme investigation of the entire structure. Looking under beds and indoors.
Sure. Roll me an investigation check, please.
Amelia will help.
Okay. Roll.
Yeah.
Fine. You're not trying to find hidden. You find that, as far as you guys can tell, everything here just been thrown around. Some things have been superficially damaged. Some furniture broken, torn, but there doesn't seem to be anything missing. Given this, Robin, with this and the single dish on the table, half eaten, and because
Only by killing him will we restore the order to the dark side?
Ephodias? I don't know. I don't think he had that big a role to play. All he did was start the clone army.
Don't take away my excuses.
Turns out he was the one all along. I always
Because
just
that
like
one guy in the beginning that sold the clothes on the left-hand side of the shop, the NPC, none of this would have happened.
I just always like the name. Like in the movies, he's just mentioned once. He was in the Attack of the Clones, and he was when Obi-Wan went to go find the clones. It turned out that the order was placed years ago by Jedi Master Ephodias, and they basically said, "Oh well, he hasn't been seen in like forever." But I just love the name so much that it always stuck with me.
I bet he's in a cartoon somewhere.
And well, no, but they do talk about him more in other places. He was Palpatine's apprentice before Dooku.
What's his name? Jebediah?
Ephodias.
Ephodias. Can you spell that?
Probably not correctly. By the way, we're streaming
no,
back
it's
up.
easy.
There you go. All right, we're back, everyone. Momentarily lapse of OBS crashing. Pure and simple. So yes, like I was saying, it seems like this was more a message being sent than an actual robbery.
Gotcha. About with this many people, about how much time does it take to kind of like get stuff back to some fucking semblance of normal? Like Moira will dump the food out that was half eaten, and I don't know, put the rose in water and leave it on the counter because it didn't do anything bad.
It's not its fault. About 20 minutes to get things in workable shape.
Gotcha.
Rhea. Oh no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say that's it. Sorry.
All right, Rhea, you have a plus sign.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I found what I was making sure I actually had a thing, and I do. So Rhea is going to spend some time just organizing her room again and mending whatever she can.
Do you mend the case as well?
Yes.
Sorry, no, just doing a bunch of things. All right, mending the case actually doesn't take.
Make sure there's nothing that was like left behind or anything that she's.
You'll also would have noticed, the violin itself is faintly. It doesn't have any enchantment per se, but when Shala uses it to cast spells through it constantly, it's bound to pick up a form of magic on its own. So it'd be very hard to damage the violin itself. But you're able to mend the case fairly well and make it look good as new, actually.
Okay.
Roll me a perception.
Oh no, I knew this was coming. Fuck, it bounced on an 18.
That's still fine. These are not hard things you guys are trying to do. As you're mending it, see scratched into the bottom of "She is mine. I leave the."
God, what a bitch.
What? She's being nice, giving you a...
Is the engraving into it something that I can...
Mending would repair that as well. It's basically scratched into the leather.
Right. So, yes, I would like to get rid of that then.
Okay. So, we'll say, Robin, you have a plus.
Yeah, I want to check out that creepy rose.
Okay. How would you like to check?
I want to go make sure that it doesn't have any poison on it or
Roll me two
anything's
things.
weird about it.
Roll me a investigation and an arcana. You okay? You just walked in here singing. Very nice. Investigation, you don't find any poison, you don't find any traps of any kind. However, when investigating it as a main route, very faint magical. Nothing that would make it enchanted per se, but there is a trace of magic on it, which could mean any number of things.
I throw it in the fire.
Okay. Where he grabs the rose and throws it in the fire. The rose burns.
And she just watches him do it, I guess.
Oh, by the way, Rhea, I should point out the engraving on the case is fixable, though it is enough that it's something that you would basically just count on spending a few hours to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
So when everything is, oh Laura, for fuck's sake. When everything is sort of, when we're fairly sure that like everything is back to as good as it's gonna get before we spend hella time with magic and try and fix everything. But as soon as we know, we're fairly certain that nothing's gonna jump out at us, Mary will gather all of her kids downstairs. Including Mr. Tibbs, he is not exempt from this.
Quick question. What are you doing with your prisoners?
I'm just about to get to that.
Gotcha.
While she does whatever she's doing, I'm gonna sit on the floor and summon Erdigar with my last slot.
Gotcha. Please mark off, do you have incense?
I do. I have a lot of incense.
Perfect. Please mark off the rest. But after 10 minutes, Erdigar comes back. As a raven?
Yes.
Good to see you back, buddy. So, okay, so everybody's in one room?
Yes. Did you leave Kitty up in the attic, Ross, or are you staying up in the attic with her?
Ross would be extremely hesitant and reluctant to come down. She'd ask, "Is it really important? Do we need to do this right now?"
Weary will look at Ross and look at Kitty and say, I can come speak to you later.
Thanks.
She'll nod.
But and like when you get up there, it's just like the body of Kitty laid out, and she's just like sitting at the table, but she hasn't done anything to the actual body.
Mm-hmm. And as Weary sees this and sees Ross kind of turn back towards Kitty, she will gently lay a hand on your shoulder and lean down and press her beak against your hair. She doesn't say anything, but it's just there.
She'll look up and she'll kind of smile like for a slight second, but say, if you need me, I mean, just tell me. But
She'll nod again.
and that's it.
Okay. And Weary will stand for a moment just watching, and then she will head back downstairs.
Ross?
That time, I just want to say, that time that you're watching, like, Ross is still just like sitting, like she just can't start yet. But that's... Sorry, continuing.
No. So do you eventually go downstairs?
Weary said that she's got exempt from this while she is tending to her robotic friend. That Weary can come up and talk to her later.
Okay. What about everyone else? Rhea, do you drop Shala stuff and come downstairs? Do you take all the stuff with you to Min, like in a big pile, or what are you doing?
For now, she'll just take the case down with her to start working on that.
There's like a pile of all of Shala's clothes around her. Like, what? Gotcha. Understood. That seems fair. Baboon and Brunhilde are quietly sitting upstairs after having helped speaking with each other and rolling a dice quietly. You see that they are playing some sort of game, but the rules don't seem to make a lot of sense to them. But basically, they're just staying quiet and out of the way.
Gotcha. So Mary will call everyone close to her, and she's been pretty quiet on the walk back. She's clearly in thought. Those of you who have spent a considerable amount of time around her.
Weary, my dear sweet bird, is perhaps something you would like some privacy for?
Then she looks over and she says, "Not yet. But thank you."
Well, in that case, he will come join the rest of you.
Gotcha. And as everybody is gathered around, Mary will take a deep breath and say, "There are many questions that need answers, and I believe it would be wise to compare accounts and share insight about today. However, I believe it would serve us best to do these things once we are dry and warm and fed. If you have wounds, please come see me. I suggest forming a queue for the Hilda. You may go first. Amelia, Annika, if you would please show her where everything is. And when you have also bathed yourselves, Zeller, I would like to speak with you. I will leave her cards on the table. Robin, if you would please make sure the hearths are lit, and if you would kindly ensure a kettle gets put on.
He bows.
She then turns to Rhea. Rhea, I will need to speak with you about the fates of our unconscious guests, and Mr. Tibbs, I will need to speak with you about what I can expect when they wake. You may put them in one of the spare rooms for now. Please remove their weapons, but do not leave them unattended or unbound.
Ah. Right. About this one, it points to the halfling. Maybe I should be warning you, he's a right nasty piece of work. Best to leave him bound as much as possible. Expect to get much out of him. Not only is his tongue missing, but his... I've heard the word fanatical used times. With him, it takes the cake. If...
She nods slowly.
Also, I hope you don't take this the wrong way, all of you. I appreciate the what has happened, definitely. But I also saw that... I saw what happened at Drow. Saw them spiders. They saw the threats. So you'll be forgiving me if I say this, but I'll put them upstairs as you requested, and think mayhaps I'll take me leave. Seems like you all are mixed up in something that I'd rather not be mixed in.
Again, Murray nods slowly. If it pleases you. But be careful.
I think well, one of the lads back there, he had a missus, some wee ones. I think I'll go find them, make sure they're okay. And then he'll start dragging the unconscious people upstairs.
Gotcha. And Shinmori will watch him as he goes. Then there's kind of a moment of silence. And then she turns back to the group and she makes eye contact with everybody. Everything else can wait. And she will sort of nod decisively and then walk up to Baboom and lean in. If I may have a word.
But you, always, please.
She nods. And I guess we'll probably lead him upstairs.
Gotcha. You lead him upstairs, and Brunhilde will then busy herself by giving, or at least.
Gotcha. And Weary has a small room kind of off to the side, and there's not a lot in it anymore. But, I mean, there's some small knickknacks and stuff, and there's a couple strings of feathers on the wall that don't look like they belong to her. And there are two notable wall hangings. One of them, they're all strung up on what is clearly something very special. They've been carved out of wood. Feathers have been adhered to them. And it starts on the left with something very small, like a little fluff of down, and then each feather gets larger and larger and larger until it is full-sized. There are 2 of these on the wall. One of them is complete. The other one is not. The other one cuts off abruptly after the 3rd or 4th. But she will lead him inside and shut the door and take a seat on the floor. There is not, I don't think there's a bed in here anymore.
I think there is. Why wouldn't there be a bed in there?
Because Weary doesn't sleep lying down.
Oh, well then never mind. There's in there.
Plus, I
Baboon-
think she moved a lot of that stuff into the other room, anyways.
Gotcha. Baboon will spread out his robes and sit cross-legged across from you, and simply watch you. His eyes curious.
And she will sit and in sort of a kneeling position.
Real quick, while you do that, everyone on the stream, just so you guys know, I'm gonna blank it out for just a moment. Actually, I'll pop up something. I need to restart Fantasy Grounds, so we can keep going because this is all roleplay. But I'm gonna be restarting Fantasy Grounds, so I'll pop up a little thumbnail. And very please.
Oh, don't worry about it. And there's kind of a moment of silence where there's just kind of the sound of the rain. And she's got her eyes closed, and then she looks up at him and says, "I would like to thank you. Deeply and from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You have been an indispensable ally to us. And I fear that if you and Brunhilde had not been here to aid us, that today may have ended very, very differently." And she takes a kind of a deep breath and lets it out, and it's like it's like the last drops of adrenaline are just gone, and she's been sitting like straight backed, and as she does this, she just kind of sags, and it's like overwhelmingly obvious that she's just beyond exhausted. And her voice gets very small. "I fear we may owe you much more than gold."
Oh, I don't think. It was, of course, my pleasure to help. I must admit I am not used to such praise. Not sure how to take it. But perhaps to return it in kind. Weary, I come from strange beginnings. In the world that I live in, you always hear about people who give of themselves to altruism. People who put others in first. Never in my entire life have I seen and dedicated. Though sometimes I fear too much on your shoulders. And he'll put a hand on your shoulder. Only bear some.
She looks up at him and then shakes her head. "If I do not bear it myself, then others must bear it for me." Do you... Oh, sorry.
He shakes his head. But doesn't say anything.
Gotcha. And she looks up at him and her expression shifts from, well, as much as it can, from tired to abruptly serious. "Do you understand what I told you now? That trouble will always find us."
It is now. Sorry.
Portly saw a squirrel, and he's freaking out about it.
Baboon leans back. Says, perhaps it would be best if I do know, sharing my past, distance myself from. Perhaps it would be at ease. Mary, I used to be the trouble you speak of. Not always known as a merchant. Known by another name. Some would call me the executioner. Not a pleasant job. But, and he spreads his hands. Some of us, a different life is all we know. Terrible you speak of. That was very familiar with it. I understand it works. Not cause me, and it would never keep.
She nods slowly and says, "Thank you for telling me, and if it means anything, I believe this suits you much better."
So do I, and so does Brunhilde. I suppose that makes the three most important opinions I could possibly find.
She huffs out a laugh, and it trails off into silence.
Weary. Nor envy. Wrong accent. Envy. I wish to lighten this any way that I can. If you call upon, let's come.
She oh boy. She looks up at him, and there's something deeply, deeply sad there. And she shakes her head. I have already lost friends to this fight, Bruno. I have no wish for you or Brunhilde to join me. Our enemies are not discerning. They will not care why you are here.
Yes,
And if...
very true. But if I may be so bold, your enemies will also not care if you are undernumbered or underpowered. Quite the opposite. They'll rejoice, and you'll be dead. Get their way. Weary, I will be honest with you. Whatever is coming, we are going to lose more friends. See a way around it. Not with what I saw. Robin, your enemy is some. Here there will be more heartbreak. I can in my distance.
My only concern is that to them you will be either one of us or not. And if you are one of us, you may be asked to answer for all our sins.
Weary, have you not been listening? My sins stretch far beyond what you could possibly imagine. If one day I am made to answer for them, well, being counted as one of your numbers, bad thing. Contrary, I'd welcome. I will be made to answer for my sins someday. I'd rather not do it alone.
She nods. And so, if I call on you, you may call upon me.
Ah, a bargain. I do so
The word bargain makes her flinch, but she does nod. And then she kind of sits back on her heels. I sense somehow that the ills of the past will soon be brought into the light. And we will need to share what has been done from the very beginning once more. If you stay, you may learn things you do not care to know. And if you stay, you may be one of us forever. I urge you to think about it. After all, you do not only have yourself to think about. It is not yet too late. You can set this city at your back, and by my will, no evil will follow.
He holds it back. Already convinced me to continue sweet words.
Oh, wait, hold on. I just got kicked out.
Baboon says, kicking you out of the plane and never coming back.
She nods and will slowly stand. Then, from the beginning, once more.
Stands up. It's a
If
good
you
place
would,
to
please.
start.
She nods again. Thank you for talking to me and for telling me. I hope it eases your heart some to know that I do not judge you for what you have done.
I appreciate it. I would also... Robin knows who I used to be. But I am very much ashamed of... I'd rather the others do not look upon me that wish to be a baboon.
She nods. Even if you were to tell them, and know you have my word that I will not, even if you were, I find that you would be baboon forever and always.
He'll consider what you say and nod. Jessie. And then he'll
She
open the
nods.
door for you.
If you might call Robin to me, I believe he and I have something to talk about.
If I may be told me, I do not think that is a cause of alone. What you are facing, all have a right to know.
She nods.
And he'll leave.
And she'll linger in the doorway for a minute, and she'll take another deep breath and follow him.
Thus they traveled back downstairs.
Amelia, don't forget what I told you about if you are in the game right now.
Also, check
I remember.
Oh,
Sorry, go
Zeller, not Annika. Sorry, my bad.
check your firewall. Make sure it's not blocking fantasy group.
It just kicked me out a second ago, by the way.
Fucking.
It's taking us all out one by one.
Cat
That was the true enemy all along.
Alright, so you all go back downstairs. Or Weary and Baboon. head back.
Amelia has been helping Brunhilde in the kitchen, like Weary asked, so.
All right.
And you see Weary produce Zeller's cards from her. She is, at some point, I believe I mentioned this, she had stripped off the gross black clothes that she was wearing and she had just tossed them on the fire. And she is wearing her usual kind of poncho, I guess. But she will produce Zeller's cards and set them on the table. And she will linger for a moment and tap her talon on them. And say, if it is your wish to be introduced to everyone, I believe now would be a good time to do it.
For those of you who have never seen this before, the image, woman, appears semi-translucent next to the cards in here. She is dressed in Corvosan common clothes with a bandana on her. And she has a ageless look on her, which where you've noticed she's been gaining more.
Mm-hmm.
He looks around the room, locks eyes with Rhea and Robin, Baboon, and says, "Hello to you all, though I do feel like I know most of you already. My name is Zeller. I am, well, suppose you could call me a companion to Weary."
Weary nods and her eyes are warm and she says, Zeller, as always, it is good to see you.
He nods. I know how tired you must all. I am attached to cards that he carries. Where most of what there something
Out of character, I believe the last time Weary spoke to Zellera had said that she wanted to do a reading for Amelia after this whole Emperor thing.
She would nod and she'd go, I would, whoever might help. And then she'll look around at everyone. My ability with cards is limited, but it is real enough. And tell events, perhaps understand past one. My cards are at your disposal.
Amelia is quiet for a moment and almost looks a little nervous. And then after a moment, she kind of glances around and goes, I mean, now? Or...
I can't wait if you know that you have much to discuss, but if my cards can offer guidance, Might be best to know that before you figure out.
Very nice. If you wish to speak with someone privately, there are rooms upstairs available.
That is a kind offer. For any who wish to seek it, free to report alone and keep whatever we find.
Weary will look over at Amelia.
She's quiet for a little bit, and then nods and hesitantly comes forward, and she like starts to reach for the cards and then pauses and pulls away, just kind of like looking at Zeller as if asking permission.
Nods.
She will again hesitantly take up the cards and then kind of nodding at everyone else, but not really making eye contact, head upstairs.
We'll hold. Amelia,
She stops.
I respect your decision to do it alone, but from what I understand, from what I have seen, there should be one other with you. And she will look at Robin.
He will stand and follow.
Cool. Okay. Sure.
Weary will sigh and shake her head, but let them go.
Amelia starts back up the stairs.
You all, three of you, make your way upstairs, though Zeller just seems to float along behind. A room.
Amelia's room. As much as Robin, I'm sure, veers towards Rhea's, Amelia just keeps walking.
Close the door behind. And Zeller will say, "But place a table somewhere in the both of you." And
I'm guessing there's at least like a nightstand or something in the room.
Correct. And I'm going to drag you both into the room. The rest of you, amuse yourselves for a time. We'll be back in a bit. Stream, don't worry, you're following me. We'll be back. Hello.
Woo.
Oh man.
So, as you set up the table, or while you just, as you set up the table, it says, I asked Robin to not know what happened exactly. Both spoke to each other, had a conversation outside the orphanage. Since then, I have seen your fate our lives. And exactly how, but
Amelia starts chewing on her lip and just will not meet anyone's eyes.
this
After a moment, she kind of hesitantly goes, should Annika be here for this as well?
always.
Well, she's I have to bring her back. She went into the fire to look for something.
It is not necessary. Two of you are so bound. I'm sure you will learn.
Definitely not trying to put this off. Yep. So she like kind of purses her lips a little bit, like, okay. And she will, I guess, sit down next to the nightstand table.
Yeah, like I guess you guys would probably sit on the bed, as the nightstand's fairly tall.
Sure, yeah.
And as you're sitting down, she says, saying fates have become linked. Oftentimes will be due to a choice made. Whatever you discussed, one of you, or both of you, made a decision to yourselves that altered the fate. Not have to tell me, but best if you or tell another.
Amelia kind of glances over at Robin and then looks like over at Zeller and nods slightly.
Robin's just looking a little bit confused back and forth. Like, what did I do? What have I done? God damn it. I didn't mean to do anything. Oh, I've messed it up again. Like, just this tumble starts happening in his mind as he slowly nods.
And he does the same thing that Amelia does.
Quietly, though, to himself. He leans down and he's actually going to whisper to her, I'll support you in this, but maybe you should start telling your friends. This is going to look weird. And then smiles up at Zeller like, yeah, none.
Oh, God.
Zeller will take the deck of cards and starts shuffling expertly, flinging them back and forth on a second thought as intention of. It has been some time. Different type of reading is in order. I shall explain how. Draw 3. One for your past, one for your future. They will help guide you, perhaps ending. See. And she will offer the. Amelia, the way we're gonna do this, because this isn't Roll20 anymore, I don't have the actual cards, unfortunately. I would like you to roll me. You can't really roll a D54, so just roll me a D100. And then anything above 54, we'll just have to re.
Okay.
And do it 3 times. Have to give.
Did we figure out how to roll a D100? What was that?
Yes.
13?
No, that's 13. Or no, wait, that's 3.
Oh, it's actually 3. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm rolling an actual D100.
Gotcha.
328, and you right click over the D10 and then click the percentage. That's too high. 35. So 328 and 35.
Alright, so give me a second here. I need to find these and then I need to read.
Should Robin roll as well?
Yes, Robin,
wait.
assuming you want to take part, go ahead and.
Oh, yeah, he loves this shit.
Yes, read my
28 and 35?
Yep, it's 328, 35.
Alright. And Robin, what were yours?
12, 41, and 47.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
These are really
What?
good rolls, guys. I mean, for you in particular.
Oh.
Well, I guess that's kind of the point, is that they're always going to seem like these cards speak to you, but these cards are really guys.
What, did I get the hag again?
Just, you'll see. Hang on.
Mm-hmm. Just remember, if you're showing us cards, I can't see them right now because Roll20 is being a bitch.
Nope, there's no cards.
Okay. Well, if we died, it's cool. We rolled characters. Jesus Christ. It's too bad. I'm kind of surprised that they don't have the Taroko extension in Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah, it's. I looked for it. There's the Haro. There's one for the 5e edition, but there's not one for the Haro deck, and I feel that's vital for this. So, all right, just one more second to fully read over these, so I know what they're telling me. All right, ready?
Sure.
So, Zeller puts the cards, first with Amelia down, faced first on the table. One representing your past, one representing your future. She will tap the card representing your past, and this card will allude or tell you to something in your past. It may be something you know quite well, or perhaps give you light into something you did not understand. It is not something you can change, merely something that you can. She will flip it over. See the card that says the big sky, has a picture of blue air and clouds. Nods. This card of strength represents momentous courage. There was a moment in life you showed likes of energy, and doing so tied your certain. You may question decision to no. Cards speak. It was right to show courage and should be respected. He will then tap them. This card issues people or obstacles currently. It can give you insight to how to proceed or a new perspective problems you. You will flip. It says the hidden truth, and it has a picture of a person holding a finger. This card. It's the discovery. It would seem, Amelia, there is something you do not realize influence. Something you will learn you have not already. Something that you must. When you do, not shy away. Not embrace this folly will. Perhaps the final card. Card represents you. And as such, difficult. It is not of things that must happen, but only of. And if you are forewarned, fill of this page. We'll flip it over. The idiot. And it has a man riding a dog. Very large, goofy head. Evil. It folly. Blackmail. Yourself will bribe you, even yield to your it. Run away, you. However sure you are, do not accept all you hold dear. Stand with
Amelia is quiet for the whole of the reading. As each card is explained, she kind of frowns a little harder. And then as Zeller gets to the portion of the idiot about blackmail and hubris, she just looks confused, and then there's this moment of almost fear. And she just barely almost glances in Robin's direction and then stops herself and just stares down at the cards on the table and nods very slowly.
question. And she'll turn to Robin. Tell me, Robin, your intention, whatever they may be,
He hasn't. That's not. I am. She just kind of folds in on herself and shakes her head. That's not.
Not allowing her to do that, Robin will pretty much forcefully take her hand and keep it down, obviously, but hold it and look directly at Zeller and say, no, it doesn't.
He is not. But perhaps the one we are all aware you. Robin, do you, Ben?
I do.
How much? Know what? Know what?
He actually looks a little bit ashamed and loosens his grip on her hand and shakes his head no.
Look back to him.
Amelia, at this point, bright red and a little bit shaky, will look between Zellera and Robin, and then down back at the cards and nod.
And Amelia,
Mm-hmm.
mechanically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
keep. I'm gonna send you something. Keep this.
Mm-hmm.
The card of the. If the week,
Mm-hmm.
a year from now, if there comes a time, feel that card suddenly approaching you and trying to appeal.
Mm-hmm.
That card will give.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So like when Otto used the bear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is basically a foretelling of your. Remember it, because I'm not going to tell you. Remember to use the right time, or it may even be a time I'm not thinking of, but who knows. But if you remember to use advantage, thing.
Okay.
So very powerful.
Cool.
Then look, Robin.
Oh, absolutely. I love these. Go ahead.
She will offer you the cards, tell you to.
He draws 3 and places them on the table and then kind of leans back and smiles at Amelia like, isn't this kind of exciting?
Tap the first card. That first card deal cannot be changed, depending on how well you know it might. And she'll flip it over. Picture of the juggler, and it's juggling card. It generally represents people who play with the fates of others. Past, you had a great trait, modifying or pauses for a while, searching Robin's. How is Robin right now?
He's leaned in a little more. He has a bit of that drow smile spreading, and he's just grinning at her, almost enthralled by the total confirmation of suspicion.
She continues. How you taps the play, experiencing obstacles or goals, or even and she flips it over, and it's part of the owl. And she smiles. Well, once in a while. The owl, it can represent harsh wisdom, natural type of wisdom. She kind of grins. Perhaps you know a specific owl that has wisdom. Always easy to hear.
I'm waiting for literally right now. Like smiles, like, good job, lady. You did really well on your reading.
I'm searching Robin's face. You still there?
Did you
Yeah.
not hear Wings?
Uh-oh. I can't hear you.
Oh no.
God
Hang on
damn
one
it.
second.
Please stop it.
Hello?
Can
Hi.
you hear us?
Hang on
Hello.
a second.
Hello.
I can't. Oh.
Everything's broken.
Yay.
Hello.
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 Okay.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
That was strange. I think the stream's okay. I think my headset just stopped transmitting sound all of a sudden.
Weird.
Yeah, sorry. The last I stopped when I said that she asked you if you knew an owl that sometimes gives. It's hard to hear.
Yeah, no, we
Robin's-
heard all of that,
Yeah.
but you just didn't hear us.
No, I did not.
Yeah.
Robin said, "Yeah, I'm literally waiting for that just right now,"
And I can't.
and like was really proud of her.
Hang on.
Aww. I guess that means we won.
Damn it!
All the rest of the cards are ours.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that means we get the rest of the deck.
Excellent.
We play for keepsies.
Well, now we could just pick our card.
Yay! Kill. Squee.
Hang on.
Squee, no. Fuck.
He's lost forever.
Shit.
Oh,
Well,
there you go.
apparently since... Oh,
Okay.
Hi.
can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I don't know. I think maybe like my battery died, but it didn't give me the low battery warning or something. I don't know.
That's
You
weird.
plugged in now?
Yeah, I'm plugged in now.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's cool. Robin just said he's literally waiting for that right now and was very proud of her successful reading thus far.
She nods, and then she taps the last card. This represents your something that has yet to pass. As I said, it can be a fate you wish to run to, one you wish to, or simply a warning as to what is to come. Fortunately, that must flips it over. Card. She frowns at it. Card that represents prophecy. Prophet. Puppet. And it. Robin, it is possible I am in you as a puppet, or one powerful, even a god. She looks at the cards. I fear this is something you must run from, for with all your upherding those you.
He's quiet for a moment and he looks over to Amelia and says, "That last card kind of hits hard, doesn't it?"
Amelia just watches him with a look of concern.
Oh, what clear others.
As Zeller says that, Amelia reaches into her pocket and she pulls out the pendant that Annika had taken from the drow mage and puts it on the table, watching Robin as she does.
I mean, he totally stares at it openly.
Robin. Prophet. For your god. But one should never deny the truth. And Robin, same thing. I'm going to give this to you. If ever a time comes to, you can use self-advantage on whatever check, be it to deny or to do. You know what I mean? It's hard to say precisely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very open.
Yeah.
Advantage.
I don't know, Squee. I feel like this isn't really applicable with this situation. It's kind of a stretch.
I told you guys I was very impressed with your rolls.
Oh boy, this is
Yeah.
Like,
oh boy.
I get that these cards are meant to where you can find a little bit, a good DM can spin this, but
But this is
For
like,
both of you, these cards needed
spot on.
very little spinning.
I mean, to be fair, like the original card that Amelia got as well, that really hit home. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So with that, she will cards back and shuffle the deck. Well, hopefully. Perhaps you have much. She'll place the deck back on the table. But whether you do that in front of me, only aid and advice. I cannot. Well, it is not my place. What?
Amelia nods and very quietly says, "Thank you, Zeller."
I have not forgotten what you have done for me, Amelia. Avenging my son and my own death. I understand the trials that are for you. The only way that I can help, but I do so glad. And she puts her translucent hands over. Feel nothing. Gestures, they're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Wish you, both of you. We should return to the others in case there are others.
Amelia nods and she will pick up the cards, scoot the table back into its proper place, and she will start heading out the door.
What about you, Robin?
Robin sits for a second. And then he does get up and he follows. He just death glares the back of Amelia's head like, we should probably talk. And just... But she's got to carry the dead girl's cars downstairs, so he ain't gonna say anything.
Right.
Dead woman, thank you.
I will move you both
Girl,
back up.
he's old.
I'll move you both back up.
Kitty calculus.
No, I've blocked out all of the math I learned in the last 3 years of high school and anything I learned at college. So like, I don't
Luckily,
even remember what that word means.
luckily, I was really good at those. I got an A in calculus.
Hello, lady.
God, you're a
Hello.
nerd. Hello.
Hello.
Well, that was a bust. Those cards had absolutely nothing useful whatsoever.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how we're gonna pull this off, but we can trying to stretch it a little bit.
What they're saying is we're doomed.
Yeah, we're kind of fucked.
Well, we already knew that.
Every card was just a symbol of the mother.
Oh no!
No. Each card was just a giant middle finger.
That's not even in the deck. How did that?
Yeah. Have y'all pinched yourselves? Are you sure you're not dreaming? Is every card the idiot?
They're all the fool.
Oh,
Fine, don't worry about it.
As Amelia drops off the cards, Robin's gonna drop off a shopping list for Baboon. I will send it to you. And he's also gonna start taking a whole bunch of stuff out of his bag and just piling it on the kitchen table.
Okay. In the meantime, Weary has been checking to make sure her food has not been poisoned and or pillaged.
gotcha.
But yeah.
Brunhilde,
so
taste
there's
this.
Yeah, no. So there's a pile of shit on the table now? Thanks, Robin.
Hang on.
And then Robin walks away.
And you get to deal with it because Rhea's disappearing upstairs.
And as you get down, Zeller will say, "Are there others who request my assistance? As I told Amelia, I understand the trials that you face, and I have not forgotten what you've done for me. This is the only way that I can help, but I do so gladly."
And Weary will pick up the cards and she's been sort of learning how to shuffle and she's not very good at it, but she'll tap it down and say, "Suppose I might ask for a reading."
He nods and then looks to Boone. I would love so, but perhaps another time. We could always and he like flips a deck in his hand, shuffling. Then she turns her eyes to Rhea. And you. We have not officially met, but I feel like I know you all. Rhea of the Lilac Order. Faithful. Their assistance I can I tell you?
And she'll sort of look around at everyone for a moment before looking back at Zeller. How does it work exactly? Do you just tell me, or do I need to ask a question, or...
And Weary will reach out, lay a hand on Rhea's arm. Would you like to accompany me? You may see how it works for yourself.
If you don't mind.
She nods.
Alright. So, Amelia is going upstairs to cast Find Familiar. Robin is dumping out treasure on the table, and of course Robin will get to that.
And then I follow her.
Gotcha. Oh, right. We'll get to that as well. But first, I'm going to drag Rhea and Weary into the secret scene. Ross, I'm sorry, but you're up in the attic.
That's totally fine.
Alright.
He's doing stuff.
We'll be back,
Maybe.
everyone.
Bye.
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 Woo!
Oh, boy.
Some heavy shit?
So all I can say is that, so these cards are designed so that a good DM can always spin them. Sound like they pertain to your character, right?
Yeah.
Jesus, I needed very little spinning with their cards.
Well.
Very well done drawing. So, like I said before, Wally doesn't follow us in here. Have to deal with that. You all make your way up. Where exactly? Where are you headed?
Weary will probably pull them into her old room.
Okay. And when you go into the room and close the doors, Zeller will say, "Center of the room. Both of you sit on the side of it."
She will nod. She's probably got something somewhere that she can use.
Mm-hmm. And she places it on the ground. Especially Maria, because I imagine she has done this many times.
She probably has sort of like a low tea table or something. She tends to sit mostly on the ground.
And Zeller will sit opposite, and she will begin shuffling her own deck of cards as if it was a natural extension of herself, expertly. I mean, Baboon did great, but really he has nothing on this. This deck is a part of her.
Mm-hmm.
And she places the stack on the table. These are 3 cards. Place them down each other. And if you would please, I want you to roll a D100 3 times, and if you get over 54, you'll just, because there's no D54. And then you both will have to give me some time. Rhea, I'd like you to go ahead and just do it now as well. And then I'll get all the cards, and then I'll a second to read them and see what the heck they're telling me.
Okay.
71, 79, 74.
Okay, you have to re-roll those.
All of them?
Yeah, because it has to be under
anything
54.
above a 54.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wish I had a 54. I've
For
54.
fuck's sake.
There's a way to do
There you go.
different dice and fantasy cards, but I can't remember.
48, 28, and 37.
37.
Perfect.
Okay.
Give me a second here.
you're doing that, I will start tossing out Rhea's. You know.
Bust that shit out, Rhea.
Woo! If I got doubles, should I re-roll again?
What? Oh, yes. Please.
Like if I got, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my
I can
god.
do this.
These
we
are
go.
amazing. I love these so much.
Did I get the owl again? Because that would be funny.
Not you. You didn't get it.
Oh!
Nice.
That a 210 would just be like a 20. Make that a 30.
Sorry, chat. I know this is riveting, but as you saw before, trust me, the outcome is well worth the wait. Especially if you guys just keep rolling gold like this. And number 28.
I mean, her last reading was pretty damn good, too.
Man. Okay, Marie. I think that yours actually, as far as like me not even having to try hard for these cards to pertain to you. All right, Rhea, you've got what? 38, 34, 30, and 20, 10.
Mm-hmm. Should I roll another 10? Or do we want to make that like 21 or just round it up to 30 or something?
I'll say this because I haven't looked at it yet. You can make that 20, make it 30. I know it's not much of a choice because you have no idea.
Mm-hmm. It's got stuff ready, so let's make it a 20.
So 38, 34. Gotcha. Oh. Gosh darn it. Sorry. There we go. It's a 34 and a 38. Or actually 38 and 34 is the order. You rolled it 38, 34, and 20 is the last one, right? This is important. So, right. Okay. That's cool. No, that's cool. It's cool. Holy crap. Cool. That's nice.
I don't
Wait,
like
are
the
you
sound of
having
that.
a good time?
Mm-hmm. Very good time. Give me a second, guys. I just have to read all these and see exactly what.
How dare you try to be thorough?
Okay. Cool. I'm ready. I'm weary. Guys, this rolls. All of your rolls. Good. Alright, Mary, she places 3 cards on, or you place them on the table. Zeller taps the leftmost card for you. This card represents. It represents things that have already happened and cannot be changed, but it may offer you new perspective. Perhaps standing. Whatever the case may be, it is important for shaping who you are now. He flips it over. The card of the midwife. Woman with baby. Card of represents an enabler, conduit, or a rival. I am not surprised. Much of your life has been patient, on. Remember, think of it. Doubt yourself, your actions. And you are who you are because of your endless passion. You will then tap the middle. This part of the represents obstacles, trials, allies, goals, things that you now. It can help you understand how to move forward or what is worth being. She flips it over and her eyes widen. Card, unicorn, and on it is a unicorn with a rainbow, very stylized, flying from a horn off the side of the car. The unicorn is a very charismatic card. Since, yeah, far more. To be with a person. It kind of smiles.
Gina, what did that
Look, I didn't roll these, okay? And she just smiles. The fates are wrong with me. Whoever the right is, you would be wise not to cast them aside. And she taps the last card. Card contains events that have yet come to. They may be things you should run away from. Warning. And she flips it over. Cards joke. And it has a picture of people holding their hands to their mouths as if they were laughing. This card generally represents monster. Obstacle. They can only be defeated through trickery. Some point in where you cannot kill with fly upon. And you're human. My words. This is not. will. I tell you. Weary, I'm going to throw this into your private channel in Discord. Keep this in your notes. If ever come across something that hits this, i.e., a person or a thing or something that you don't think you can beat through straight force, use this card and it can give you an advantage when trying to do something pertaining to it. I know I'm being very vague, but you kind of have to be because we don't really know what's going to play out, right?
Oh, I get the feeling I know exactly what this is going to be used for. But
You might,
okay.
you might, and I mean, I agree, I understand, but who knows a year from now? You know what I mean? So I'm leaving it very vague and open because if you can convince me that this is what the card's talking about, then so just keep it in your notes. I will not be reminding you.
Okay, pinned it.
She will look at. It was not as dark. Hopefully, it will help.
And Mary looks up and there's a very soft look in her dark eyes. She says, "My friend, as always, you are a beacon of light."
She nods, smiles, and then looks to Rhea. Well, would you like? And she'll hold up the deck.
She'll between Zara and Weary for a moment, and finishing at Zara.
Mary will cock her head and say, "Would you like me to leave?"
I feel a bit rude saying so when you allowed me to get in, but I think I would.
And Mary will nod. And she will stand up and place a hand on your shoulder. "I will be near if you need me." And Mary will probably head out and go upstairs to go see Rasmussen.
Zeller,
Do I get to stick around and hear what's said, or
No. I'm gonna put you back up top.
Uh,
I'm sorry, but
Goodbye.
she said no.
Well, I had to offer.
I know. See you in a bit.
Bye, have fun.
Not gonna have fun.
I don't know. You might. As Weary closes the door behind her, Zeller will nod. Always you alone. She will offer you the deck. Draw 3. Place them face.
Rhea will do so.
She will tap the card on the left. As I said before, the chains to your past cannot be changed, but to form yours to far and she will flip it over. The card says the eclipse. A card represents the loss of faith and purpose. Subjects doubt her ability. At some point, distant fear or you question. However you feel about it, know that it's wrong to question. As long as we allow that to gaze at you for a long moment, judging your action.
She seems a bit in thought for, but she will nod eventually.
Little card. Ordeals. Ally. She smiles as we And then she'll hesitate. Times the cards. Then she will. Says on it, tiger hands, meanly palms facing up. Asha. God represents domination, mental control, or but be aware that one of feels domination. Perhaps referring, perhaps it's referring to yourself. Perhaps it means something we cannot yet understand. Whatever it hard. He's staring at you, dead, serious eyes. Takes in a breath, judging your reaction. How is Rhea?
She's going ever if a bit confused as to how these pieces play together.
She taps a left. This event that has a warning. She flips it over. The card of the survivor. On it is a lone person trudging through a wasteland. She looks at it. Means that person who has managed to survive a terrible ordeal. There are two. In the crosswalk. Turn away from. There's almost. I do. Not been pleasant, but harsh truths must be acknowledged. So then, yeah. As with the others, I will post some or private channel. Keep it with you, and if at any point you come across something that you think is the lone survivor, or something that pertains to this card specifically, you can use it to give yourself advantage that relates to some way.
Okay.
Let's just hope it's not that second option, huh?
Yeah.
He will take the cards, judge. How does Rhea look right?
I mean, she, for the most part, knew what she was signing up for when she was sent to cities in really shit state, and things aren't going to be pretty. It's probably a bit what she was expecting. She's a little doubtfully in the eyes, but she is attempting to remain just very odd to everything that she's been told.
Okay. You're cutting in and out a bit. Do you by chance have a noise gate on?
I do not.
Interesting. It's clipping off the beginnings and ends of your work. But in any case, I did hear it. She'll nod and she'll look at you and she'll say, "May not make sense now. I can tell you, fates have been strong. Both my card readers do not understand them. Perhaps at the most important times. Let Baboon and the other know that
I will. Thank you.
faith. There's much. Smile and nothing. Deck of cards.
I guess Rhea will try and gather them together and to find Weary to hand them back.
Gotcha. All right, I'll throw you back in the other room. Cool. Okay.
I died.
Guys, give me a second. I need to go grab a drink. I'll be right back.
Boy, wasn't that fun.
Intense, wasn't it?
Well, the good news is, I think I know what most of it pertains to. One of them I'm a little concerned about.
Frick.
The only thing that's going to make this better is having handy.
The only thing.
I'm trying to fix it right now.
Same. No, would I'm weary have help? Gonna take that as a no.
Wait, what did you say?
Would a Weary hug help?
Oh.
No, tell me how you really feel.
What about Rhea hug and portly kisses?
That's acceptable.
Excuse me while I continue raising the octave of my skepticism.
Right?
Oh boy.
Hello, my fellow.
Welcome back.
All right. Everyone here?
Mm-hmm.
For better or for worse.
So you guys see Rhea come back down the stairs holding the tarot deck. No Zeller by her side.
Where is also not with her.
Oh, I see. Alright, well then Rhea, you see only Baboom and Brunhilde. Everyone else is somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Scratching Portly, like they are like on either side of him, giving him ear scratches. And you hear Brunhilde saying, "Who's a good boy?" Oh, Rhea, hello. How was it? Did it go well?
Insightful.
Oh, good. And then she looks at Baboon, kind of scrunches up her nose back to Rhea. He's awful at it. He's really good with cards, but he doesn't have the gift for horror reading. Baboon goes, I dare say. I think I have got the gift. I just like to think that I haven't taken that gift and opened it and given it to myself.
Jeez.
But he smiles good-natured. I know where Amelia and Robin are. Where's Murray?
She went back up to the attic.
Gotcha. Let's deal with that first, because I think Amelia and Robin might need a second. You make your way back up to the attic. What's Ross doing?
She's like kind of started to slowly take Kitty apart, but I think probably at this point she's realized that her important tools are in the bag of holding that Rhea has.
Where's my spanner?
So she's again now just sitting there staring at Kitty.
And Murray will knock very gently on the open door.
Yes?
Would you like company?
Do you know where Rhea is? I need my tools. Could you get them for me?
Murray nods. Guess we go do that then.
All right.
Bye.
While you go and do that, Amelia, you headed back up to your room to cast Find Familiar, yes? As you are starting to prepare the ceremony, Robin, how do you approach this?
Door open or closed, first of all.
Her door is always closed, so
He knocks on it twice.
There's a brief moment of silence, and then you see the door crack open, and Amelia kind of peeks out.
Are you busy? Should I come back? Can I come in? Looks a little
Sure. I was just summoning Annika again, and she'll hesitantly open the door, move out of the way for him to enter.
As he comes in, he almost purposefully asks, So, does Annika access everything that you know? Like, is she within your mind at all times, or do you have to share information?
Real quick, Squee, I believe she has, like, if they're separate, she has to actively share information, correct?
If you summon her, if they are separate.
Mm-hmm.
If she is a part of you, hide things from her, but it's not easy.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So she pauses for a moment before closing the door and turns to him and says, if she's with me, then it's fairly difficult to hide something from her, but she doesn't necessarily know everything that I know, no.
So here's the thing, Amelia. Your information is not mine to give, and I will not share it without your permission. First, I would like it known that I think you should tell your friends as soon as possible. And second, I will leave it to you as to whether or not you want her here. Because I feel as though I've been hiding some things from you that could be extremely important in the months to come.
She frowns. And why would I want to keep that from Annika?
He shrugs. I don't fully understand your relationship with her, or anyone else here for that matter. I've only known you for a matter of days, so it was just my assumption that you would like your medical information kept to yourself. But by all means, continue your summoning.
She watches him for a moment, still frowning, kind of trying to appraise him, and then hang on. Okay, she does not continue with the ritual. She just stays there by the closed door and watches Robin, just waiting for him to continue.
Do you, want to sit down, just in case?
Do you expect me to faint?
He shrugs a little, possibly.
She gives him a little bit of a skeptical look and then goes over and sits on the bed.
So, you are aware that you have about 4 months or so just remaining, right? The black is spreading on your body. Your souls are twisted together with the worst magical job that I've really ever seen. And that you're going to die if I can't fix this, right?
She looks just a teeny tiny bit surprised and then looks away from Robin and says, I didn't really know how long it was, but yes, I know that. I know.
What to expect. And he sits down on the floor and kind of crosses his legs and rests his elbows on his knees and folds his fingers and kind of leans down on his hand for a second. And then speaks while staring at the ground. Says, you'll begin to lose the ability to taste and smell. Don't worry, you won't miss it, because you won't feel hungry or thirsty. Most undead feed on flesh, so I suspect your food source is yourself, which is why you're dying. If you do feel the need to eat somebody, you should probably let me know. A lesser restoration will suppress the symptoms, but probably not slow the process of the actual impending death. Your heart won't beat anymore, it'll slow down, your skin will go cold, and you might find that you don't need to breathe anymore, or you forget to. Sleep will leave you. It'll be fitful at first, and then it just won't happen. And it's probably going to be a little frightening, but it's not painful from... looks a little bit nervous, kind of rubs a hand through his hair. But most importantly, and he stands up and kind of looks directly at her finally, you're not really alone. I will handle this with you. I just need you to know that. Are you ready for the fainting part?
She watches him for a moment before she finally says, "You are very intimate with this process."
He takes a slow nod.
Oh, Jesus. After a moment, she nods and kind of gestures for him to continue.
Robin is going to take off his mounds of cloaks, and he is going to remove his gloves. And he's going to hold his hand out, his arm, and pull out a dagger with his left hand, his dominant hand, and cut down, even if he takes damage, down the center of his forearm, and pull open his skin to show the purple glowing runes on his skeleton.
As he pulls the dagger out and starts cutting him up and cutting himself. What are you?
Take 5 points of damage.
Okay.
Also, Amelia, you see blood trickle out, but not in the way
Not
you
like
would
it
expect.
should.
Exactly, not in the way of a living person. Yeah.
And is that what's going to happen to me? Do I need to carve those into myself?
No, this is what Amelia will be. And spins around as if showcasing himself, am essentially no more than Amelia. From one to another, I've maintained this form. We're all just a bunch of spirits as is, and I'm pretty much the equivalency to her. Annika. Sorry. Shut up, Squee. No. Rhea saw it earlier, and I figure it's gonna come up tonight. So if I get kicked out, I kind of wanted you to know so that you're not feeling like you're the only person in the world who's ever had to deal with something like this.
She pauses and nods, and then she stands up from the bed and kind of holds out her hand towards the cut open arm.
He extends it to let her touch it.
She very gently looks over the wound and the runes on the bone. And has Amelia ever seen anything like this, in her time working with constructs?
Roll me a knowledge history.
Not Arcana?
Well, because this is just have you ever come across
Oh.
it before?
Very fair.
All right, now roll me a knowledge arcana check. Yes, you have. But how much? Oh, okay.
Jesus.
You have come across the concept. Rolf had some rituals that dealt with such a thing, taking the soul of planting it. But you've never seen anyone actually attempt. Rolf's, he may have had the talent to do it, but his passions were in creating golems and other constructs, things that did not have souls.
He wanted puppets
Yes,
to throw at people.
exactly. But you're familiar with the concept, certainly.
She looks over the runes and kind of frowns and goes, "Did you carve these yourself?"
He nods.
I've seen concepts like this, but this is incredibly advanced necromancy. How long have you been like this?
He opens his mouth and then almost pauses a little as if there's some hesitation. And then reworks it, rewets his lips, and says, I was about 9 years old. I'm probably 902. I haven't really kept too much of account, but...
Someone did this to you when you were 9?
He shrugs just a little, like, you know, it's not that big anymore in my mind.
You were just a child. And Amelia just looks up with you, and there's just so much sadness in her expression. And after a moment, she looks back down at the arm and goes, "Is this going to heal on its own? Can you heal on your own?"
Yeah, the necromantic energy through the actual runes themselves will reseal me eventually. We'll need to sit around for a few hours tonight to let them repair. I haven't had much of a chance, but I can heal myself. About the same rate, I guess. There'll be a wound. I probably don't scar much. And he kind of winks a little bit, like, I totally scar, and lifts down his collar a little bit to show a few.
She like half starts to reach up to touch it, and then she pulls her hand back. And after a moment, takes a step back, kind of wraps her arms around herself. So this is what Annika will become then?
No, not like, well, she probably won't have all the scarring and damage. I had a bad stint, so I got kind of careless with this one over the years. I'm sure I have a replacement that's about ready, but kind of rubs his head. I haven't really been the best I could to this body. Annika will have the runes, and she'll be like me in the not sleeping, eating. I don't feel much pain at all. I hardly feel anything, actually. Kind of like fills himself up and down. I don't think that she'll crave flesh, as she will be like me, and I have never felt the need. and you should return to your normal living state. Now, if she mistreats her body, of course she will end up in this form. I can always replace it, I guess, but it takes a lot of work, time, and effort on my part.
Amelia just kind of nods, and it's kind of hard to tell, but you think she's only half listening. She's very clearly deep in thought.
Don't hold it all to yourself. Tell me. And he, actually will step forward. I've done this. This is a very strange thing, I understand. I'm surprised you're handling it as well as you are.
She's... Oh my god, you guys. She kind of shrugs. I've been dealing with this for 2 years now, and I've dealt with dark magic, let's say, for years before that. It's not all that unfamiliar to me. I'm not exactly an expert, but I know enough to know that I should have expected this. I suppose I did, in a way.
So this wasn't a surprise to you? Kind of smiles. You expected that you were dying? You expected all of this to happen?
She shrugged, or she shakes her head and says, I didn't... When it happened, I wasn't really thinking about the future. And she starts fiddling with her hand, and she kind of tugs on a small pearl ring on her right hand. I just didn't want to be alone.
Are you saying that you did this? And points at her neck.
I suppose I should explain a little more, but Gadrian, the man that we're going after, he was, I suppose technically my father-in-law. Annika married his son, and for a while it was fine, and then apparently, and her face just turns into this bitter smile, Rolf got bored, and so he turned Annika into an undead and left her in their house for me to find. When I, and she starts shaking a little bit, kind of pulling her hands to her chest. When I found her, Gadrian was there, and he told me to just forget, to leave her, and I attacked him, and he set the house on fire and left me there. But I pulled her and myself out of the house, and before her soul left the construct, I bound her to me. And at that point, a couple of tears start spilling down, and she wipes at her face.
Robin hugs her immediately, crosses the room, and squeezes the poor little helpless half-elf into his chest and pats her head.
Oh boy. The couple of tears just immediately turn into a waterfall, and she's just shaking and trembling and just silently sobbing against his chest. And in between, every once in a while, she just whispers, "I'm sorry."
He is quiet and just pets her hair and will, every time she says I'm sorry, just make almost a hushing sound and shake his head no. And whisper very softly to her. And you don't really have anything to apologize. You loved your sister very much and you did everything you could. The man is to blame, and maybe someday you can dance on his grave. But you didn't do anything wrong. It's okay. And it's just gonna keep petting the poor female.
Amelia just shakes her head and sniffles a bit and goes, "He's already dead. Well, Rolf is anyways. Ross saw to that."
Well, we'll kill this Gadrian too then, and everything will be fine. Come here. And, like, he's gonna move her to sit her down on the bed and try and get her calmed down.
Still shaky, Amelia sits down and sniffles and snuffles and wipes her face and apologizes again.
He wipes her face with his cloak. We'll offer it as a Kleenex.
No, it's fine. I don't want to get paint all over it.
Oh, just shut up and do it. I've had worse things on my cloak.
She kind of laughs just a teeny tiny bit and will dab at her face with the cloak.
Well, should I give you time to get cleaned up and finish your summoning?
What time is it right now, Squee?
Oh,
Gotta be late.
7 or 8 at night. Yeah, it's starting to get dark, or it has gotten dark outside.
Okay. Yeah, she'll nod a little shakily.
Do you want me to stay?
She actually pauses to think about it as she like almost starts to shake her head. And after a moment, she nods.
All right. And he'll just kind of relax on her bed. And if she seems to get upset at any point, he'll point something stupid out. He'll be like, "Oh, do you see that? That looks like a rabbit in your ceiling board right there." Like, just lean back and point out stupid things to try and distract her mind, or take out something he's been whittling and show off, like a little bird or something.
She's mostly quiet for most of the summoning, but she'll give him little appreciative smiles. And eventually summon Annika.
All right. Takes about 10 minutes. Annika summons back before you. He looks around. Back. You're alive. So then I assume everything.
Amelia kind of shakes her head. Scream got away.
Which, by the way, I just remembered you're controlling Annika. Why not me? So, by all means.
Yep. Time for an interpersonal conversation.
If I had to do it, you have to do it.
God damn it, Squee! Yeah, Annika kind of tilts her head and then looks over at Robin and gives him a smile and then pauses and looks between them. Scream died in that fire. We need to go back to him to find out what happened.
I'm pretty sure you'll learn the answer to that after we go downstairs and talk to Weary and the rest of them.
Well, how would she know? She wasn't even there. And Amelia kind of frowns at him.
Because I burned him alive in his cell.
You what?
He looks down at her very numbly and says, I had something requested of me that I could not refuse, or I would be a flopping corpse on 8 legs. For Mother.
You... And Annika, like, this whole time, Amelia has been quietly just watching Robin in horror, but Annika's face just contorts into this look of rage. So you've just fucked us over, is that it? We needed him to depose. We needed him to get to the man who can depose the queen.
Yes, but we'll find that man, what was his name? Cernishal, some other way.
You've just made this so much more difficult than it needs to be. Why?
He takes a moment and audibly breathes and leans back on the bed on his elbows and says, as we almost climb the spider's web, yes?
She frowns and narrows her eyes at Robin, and then finally Amelia just shakes her head and she stands up and leaves the room silently, and as she does, Annika watches her go and then goes over to Robin, leans in close and goes, if you've ruined this for us. And she just bites back venom. Come on. And she vanishes from the room.
Robin sits there for a moment and then will get up and follow.
So this is probably about the time you probably just about collide with Moira as she's coming down from the attic.
As Rhea didn't see Weary downstairs and started going up.
So we're all
there's
standing
Amelia.
in the hallway like a bunch of assholes.
Oh boy.
How palpable is Amelia's like just potent unhappiness right now?
I mean, her eyes were already kind of puffy and red. Her makeup is a tiny bit smudgy from wiping away lots of snot and tears. And at that point, she's shaking a little bit. But you can't really tell what emotion is behind it.
Gotcha.
And Annika is nowhere to be seen.
Gotcha. Moira, seeing this, will sort of drift over to Amelia and offer her a hand.
She shrugs, or not shrugs, but she kind of shrinks away from Weary and shakes her head and tries to make her way around Rhea to get downstairs.
No. Rhea will move out of the way.
Weary looks between Rhea and Robin.
He smiles. He has all three of his cloaks in his arms.
By the way, Robin and Amelia. Inspiration.
Oh shit. Yeah, depression. Ha. Great.
I got in trouble.
Yep.
So, you all make your way back downstairs. Ross, are you still up in the attic by yourself?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, unless somebody stops her, Amelia's going to be heading out onto the front porch and catching some, getting some
Flies.
fresh air.
Oh yeah, fresh air. That's
Catching some bugs, yes, exactly. We don't want the coffers to get glow.
I'll go get her, Ross. I want her to be down there when everything happens. Robin's like, if this is coming out, this is gonna come out, and everybody needs to be on this, because I'll go outside and sleep in the rain.
Yeah, if I get kicked out, I want to be kicked out by the whole house.
Yeah, it's only fair. I did kill Scream.
Hmm.
Well, technically, fire killed him.
I mean, yeah. Won't lie to a female.
Rhea will hand the cards over to Weary and probably realize that she still has the bag of holding and start going off to deliver it.
Murray will take the card. She looks a little bewildered. What is happening here? But like with every second that passes, she and she watches Rhea as she goes. And then she's standing alone in the hallway.
Like an asshole.
Like. So she sighs to herself and drifts back downstairs. And for anybody who's down there right now, I don't know who is.
Baboom and Bruhunda, I think.
I'm gonna take that as I don't think anybody's downstairs right now, but as she's on the stairs, she pauses and takes a long look at Baboon.
Baboon is
And then,
sitting back quietly, just staring up at the.
gotcha. Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm being gently prodded. We'll go upstairs, I guess.
Gotcha.
Seeing that nobody else is downstairs, God knows where the other two went. I guess she'll go back up to Aras.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, Baboon's fine. He's looking at your architecture.
That was not the point of the look, but okay.
All right, you guys go back up toward.
Rhea, you got there first.
Oh, I thought Robin was going with.
Yep.
That's true.
Oh,
So
but we're all going up.
technically, Robin would have gotten there first, followed by Rhea. No, technically, Aras was first, then followed by Robin, and then Rhea. And then, well, I mean, when does Kitty count? Like, does Kitty count as, like, first, or... Okay, sorry. So, Robin...
Depends who went with the door frame first. Was it Kitty or was it Ross carrying?
Robin, Rhea, and then Weary. Like, right behind each other.
So Robin taps on the door frame and is all, "Hey, I think we're about to have a conversation that's really foreboding, dark, serious, and yeah. Do you want to come?"
No. You... Where did you go? Kitty went down there to help you and Brunhilde, but...
Yes. That smell of the brimstone? I teleported out. I'll explain it downstairs, please. It's been a very long day, and I'm literally bleeding out right now.
Weary is standing behind you. Reaches out gently and around Rhea, I guess, because there's an order to this. Squee made that explicitly clear. Do you need help?
You do see blood slowly dripping down his arm.
Gotcha.
I'm alright. I just need a rest tonight. He kind of shields himself a little from her. So, could we downstairs and I'll explain what happened? Yes?
Yeah, Ross will take... she'll stand up and lead on.
As you walk, he'll mutter quietly behind Ross, "I'm sorry about your kitty."
That I can rebuild. She'll be back. That's really not the problem.
He nods and goes downstairs.
As you all start heading back downstairs, you see Baboom sitting in the chair with a large pipe that he's thoughtfully pulling off. As blue, sweet-smelling smoke curls up toward the ceiling. See Brunhilde in the chair next to him, also with a pipe. But it's obvious there's nothing in the pipe. She has it in her mouth, much like Baboom does.
As Murray comes down the stairs. Not in the house, please.
Baboon looks Oh. Apologies. It's not a real... It's not... And he just kind of waves through the smoke, and it's completely unfazed or moved by his hand. Helps me think.
She huffs.
Robin scowls jealously.
That was said in his accent. Leave me alone.
It's Camille.
He'll put the pipe away, and Hilda will put hers as so serious. Well, hey, we all made it. That's good, right?
We're
Yeah.
not slowly. We are alive. And then she will look to Robin. Where's Amelia?
I think she stepped outside when we came down here.
Seems like something you'd like us all to be present for.
Yeah, he goes to the door. He opens it to look for Amelia.
You failed at overthinking.
No, that just means she's overloading. Jesus. Oh god. She jumps a little when the door opens. She's standing right next to it. And when she spots Robin, she immediately looks away. But doesn't move.
He steps out a little, holding it close behind him, and whispers, "So I'm about to just throw everything at everyone, and we're about to talk about a lot of things, so we'd appreciate if you'd come inside. And I know it doesn't mean anything to you, but I am sorry. You ready?" "And you should tell them," little firmer tone.
Do you
Come on.
plan on telling them everything?
"I do."
Everything. And she looks down at his arm and then back up at his eyes.
"I do. Will that make you forgive me?"
She opens her mouth and pauses for a moment and then looks away. I don't know.
He nods. "Please tell them, Amelia. Come on." And opens the door and steps back in. Holds it open. Staring.
She pauses for a moment longer and kind of rubs a bit more at her very sad, puffy eyes, and she will walk past him very briskly over to one of the chairs, kind of further away from everyone else, and sit down.
I should
Actually,
also
no,
note that her makeup is smeared. Like, everyone would see this.
Yep.
"Oh. Can I put my cloak on her? Is that an okay thing to do? Panic."
Would we have already seen this when we were
Yes,
going down the stairs?
you would have, yes.
Yeah, she's got like her scarf, that's what it is, around her neck, but like on her like cheeks and her lips, it's all smeared and smudgy.
Should those of us who need to make medicine checks?
Or can we even see it through the smudging, or?
No, it's only on her neck.
Yeah,
Oh,
Okay.
gotcha.
That would be visible.
Okay. Alright.
correct.
But you can definitely tell something's wrong because
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Haji. And it wasn't earlier.
And it wasn't a makeout session, so.
I mean, as far as we know.
Investigation.
So you all make your way inside.
As Robin sits down at the table, he looks directly across the table at Baboom and says, "Do me a favor and promise me you'll at least give me 10 minutes running start if you decide to kill me."
Incredible.
Weary blinks and looks back and forth between the two of them.
Takes like he's rocking back on the chair. It's full. And stares at Robin for a long time. And with no accent says, "I hurt Weary."
I might have done so without trying to.
That's not what I asked, Tra.
No, I don't.
Well then, no reason. But should the need become, I warn you, get no head start.
Robin does a quick physical check of all of his blades and takes a deep breath. He feels pretty brave of himself right now. He's pretty scared, actually.
And you'll all see Baboon is no longer leaning back. He fingers.
And you see Weary's eyes. She's she is bewildered and extremely concerned. Robin, is this about what you told me?
We will start out with the easy part, the part that makes everyone angry, it seems. So, I would have absolutely loved to play that game of Blood Pig with all of you, but unfortunately, a beautiful woman by the name of Camille has been visiting me every now and then, and asked me a favor not by her, but of Mother Dearest, to kill Salvatore Scream, to which, while we were in the middle of the game, I allowed myself to be bumped, and he puts up quotation marks, into the pit with the Wolverine, teleported myself into the back room, found Scream, who was incredibly large for a crazed painter, and burned him alive, thus setting the entire structure on fire. That pile right there is what I got, minus a painting that, if you don't mind, reminds me of home and I'd like to keep to myself. Is there anything that I can answer further on that? And holds his hands open.
You've been visited by Camille.
She's the one who told you to kill Scream, and
No.
Annika is the one that says this.
Camille was frightened and shaking and terrified as she inhabited my mind and gave me a message from Mother. A request from Mother. And as you saw with the 8-legged abominations, one does not necessarily turn down a request from their god, a demand from their god.
And you know without a shadow of a doubt that this was from your god.
Yes, I got the honor of speaking to a handmaid myself.
This is the same god that wants to, make sure I no longer exist.
It's the same god the entire Valentine family seems to worship. Or at least they have dealings with Drow. I don't know what the relation is yet. I haven't put it all together, but they're all involved. You're all up against pretty much a god and an unstoppable force.
I should point out, no disrespect to you, Robin. Mother is not exactly... Oh god. Powerful, yes. Infinitely, though, perhaps. Not immortal. Not in the same way as, say, Serenray or Asmodeus. Though, I admit, lowly mortals like us, it might as well be same. And he, spreads his hands out.
Robin's jaw works a little bit angrily at that.
Weary from across the table has her black eyes narrowed. Robin, why didn't you tell us? We
Because
were counting on you.
it's not
Our
necessarily
Carlo was
information.
counting on you.
He puts his face in his hand on the table.
Rhea will set a hand on Robin's arm and look around at everyone. And she'll take a deep breath, say, "What do we do?"
Since the mention of Drow, Amelia has had a hand over her mouth and her eyes are just wide. And finally, she looks up at Robin and then at everyone else and goes, "Oh gods, the vision. The Grey Mate. Oh no, 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 no." And she actually stands up almost fast enough to knock over the chair and goes over to the group, puts her hands on on the table and looks at Weary and says, "Drow have been replacing the Grey Maidens. I saw it in a vision from one of the assassins."
And Weary stares at you, almost blankly uncomprehending. And then she sucks in a breath. "Oh, my son. Oh, my son, what have they done?" And she begins shaking, and she rests her face in her hands.
"We have to tell Cressida. We have to tell her right now."
They have no idea against the heart of the order.
Picks his head up. I would be replaced.
Weary, without raising her face from her hands, says, "Do you remember what I told you? That about royalty not everything is as it seems."
And they do?
The Queen is dead. The Queen is dead, and she has been dead for some time.
See, considering alive and well, that problem.
Yes, because the man we chase is an exceptionally skilled necromancer. He spoke to me He knows that Roth fell. And she looks up at Ross. This is not a coincidence, Ross. They saw what happened. They know who you were.
Yes. They knew who I was, who I am now. They know that I killed Roth.
But that's not what she said. The handmaiden, the Yakut, she said you killed the mother's son. Rolth was a child of Cadrian Lamb, no?
So, how could he be both?
For all we know, it wasn't a literal son, but for all we know, it could be. I'm guessing Amelia or Annika never met Rolth's mother.
Rolth's mother?
Would this be considered maybe a title that Robin could think of?
Yeah,
Mother
like some
wouldn't
gods have
refer to
champions and everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to be really high up to be that adored.
But go ahead and roll a knowledge religion check.
Okay.
With aid from Baboon. He is trying to figure this out as well and has some experience.
And would I have to roll a history to see if Rolth had made any mention whatsoever of his mother?
No, I will tell you he...
Gotcha.
Robin, this is difficult. You know that the mother had not so much champions, but certainly ones that are high in her favor. Even ones that are greatly high in her. That might call themselves champions, or that might be considered avatars, I guess you could say, of her. Though, two things. Until now, it's only ever been Drow, and Mother has never considered anyone part of her family. The Drow are too low for... Does that make sense? Even her greatest Drow champion is simply a tool to please her, not a son or a daughter.
Furiously jealous right now. Robin's going to pat Rhea's hand and give her a very appreciative look and begin explaining that essentially my kind are far too low to be even considered her family. To think an individual would be... But I could see it as a title. That is possible. Although it makes me extremely uncomfortable on who or what that person would be capable of.
At the end of the table, Weary has not stopped shaking, nor has she looked up. Amelia, I have not heard from Mallow in days.
Who?
Amelia looks over at Weary, and without looking over at Ross, she says, her son. He's with the Grey Maidens, remember?
Could you find someone to possibly scry for him? Maybe something he has, or...
Didn't Freya have scrying stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
I have that as a spell now, but I can't cast it right this second.
Yeah, Amelia shakes her head like, we could have asked Freya, but she's not here.
Well, we know how to contact her. I mean, just helping Eris.
Baboom, you don't happen to have any scrying magic?
Give me a second while I check. But I don't think warlocks have that ability. Let me.
It's a spell they can take.
He doesn't have it. It's 5th level, isn't it? Maybe pulls up. Not right now.
Yeah, I thought that was something he couldn't do.
I have one. Notwithstanding.
What is the option?
Was not, He looks very nervous. You see, I was not always a merchant. Different path in life. That path, though I have left it behind me, beings that owe me have the effect. They are, looks around. Very dangerous. Very knowledgeable. Dangerous.
How much would it be?
You seem weary, start to shake her head.
He shakes his head as well. This is not a transaction. Something I made important to say it.
Please do not put yourself in danger. I have already lost too many friends.
It is so much the physical danger I'm worried about. Magic circle, done correctly, Pain the Marlith. She's cunning, experimental, and not the happiest. Everyone who is proficient, or heck, everyone who's not, roll me a religion check. Why not? I'm sorry, Arcana, knowledge Arcana.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, that's worse.
Yeah, that's so much worse.
Weary, Robin, or it's definitely Robin, Amelia. You all know what a Marlith is a with the lower body of a snake and the upper body of a female with 6 arms. They are typically very intelligent, very evil, and very powerful.
Yeah, Amelia immediately shakes her head and goes, we should maybe not summon that into the orphanage.
I've done deals with ones like that before. I think we could handle it. I think you could handle it. Looks at Babu. But it's Miri's call, I feel.
For the sake of playing my hand a little, Robin, I am not what I once was. Up much when I gave up my past. Not that I am not dangerous. He literally points at Rob. Behind you.
And Weary at the base of the table is quiet for a moment. I will speak to Cressida before I do anything else. Robin. And she looks up at him. Why are you here?
I am here to find Vencarlo and fulfill a request. I also have a personal favor I'm carrying out among your group.
She nods slowly. How much did Vencarlo tell you about us? How much do you know about why we fight?
He never really shut up about it. I was a decoy during the entire Triana escape fiasco when you all showed up. Some fireballs. Other than that, he would never stop after a glass of wine. I feel I understand you all a lot more than you understand me.
Not much is evident. Amelia kind of mutters to herself.
You are here for Vencarlo. And once you find him, what will you do?
I will fulfill my task within this group. And then I'll make a decision from there. I'm not much for planning ahead, really.
Please understand how important this is. Please understand. If we fail, then there's the chance that life in Corvosa for every man, woman, and child will never again be the same. I cannot predict the future. But I know omens when I see them, and I have received very few good ones. It is a dark road ahead of us, and Robin, we will need all the help we can get. If you are not here to help us, then please leave.
Baboon leans forward. To add on to my friend Mary to crystallize the issue at hand, Robin. I do not begrudge anyone their religion, but it's starting to look like your mother is directly opposed to this group's goals. I do not think that you serve both at the same time.
Robin has a lot of inner bets he's hedging right now, and pieces he's calculating as he looks around this group, and it does not feel like a lie to him necessarily to say, for as long as I can, I will serve your group to the best of my ability. If I end up with another situation where it might upset you, I will discuss it with you. But I've spent a long time staying alive, and I don't plan on losing the Spider Queen's games just yet. So I will do what I can and work with you.
And
Is that a better agreement?
what happens if she wants you to do something that would directly harm us? Or even indirectly?
He takes a glance directly at Amelia and then smiles and he says, "Well, then I guess it might be time to turn against my card, but we'll see what happens when that comes."
Amelia, for a moment, looks genuinely a little bit surprised.
And Weary is giving him a very calculating glance.
I think that
So-
day will definitely be coming.
So, the last part, right? He stands up and he turns to look at Rhea. And he takes her hand and he smiles. "I hope this doesn't interrupt our friendship. You play beautiful music. I'm very dead. What you saw was not a hallucination. It was exactly what you saw, and it might have been shocking to you, but it's very much tolerable."
I suppose it does add up, that and the healing through potion. The scarring that you have, not something that anyone could really live through.
And from the base of the table you hear quietly, "I feel somehow as though I'm being tested. I wonder sometimes how it is that one can have all the pieces of a puzzle in front of them and still not know the picture it makes until it is pointed out."
So what would you all like to do with me? I could tell you a long, convoluted story, or you could kick me out right now. And he stands up and holds his arms open.
"I will ask you one question, Robin, and I think this will determine my answer. All gods have my respect, though I think some of them do not have it in the way they would prefer. But I cannot and will not forsake my conscience to grovel at their feet. What this mother has shown me is that she is directly opposed to my goals, and to the task that my goddess has set before me." And she looks at him, right in the eyes. "You serve this mother, yes?"
I was born to her.
"Is it your choice?"
It is not my choice to be what I am.
So that's a no.
He frowns a lot, not liking that.
There's always a choice.
What?
If I may. I am very familiar with the mother. And I can tell you, not that simple. One cannot spend an entire life in servitude, goddess of chaos. Decide to that simply forget or abandon. That not so, Robin?
He nods.
Though I fear rest of you stand, Robin, hatred. The mother is a goddess of chaos. She values strength, violence, chaos. Her people, Drow, turn on each other again and again and again to prove themselves. The point I am getting at is that others cannot outguess her, cannot predict her. The only thing you can be sure of, you will do everything she can, so and pleasure. Am I misrepresenting her?
Not at all.
This is a person who voted you out.
This is a personal drow that are worth anything have devoted themselves to. From generation to generation, you do not have a child and not dedicate it to mother.
He speaks true.
I grew up in the churches, and he makes direct eye contact with Baboom to see if that has any meaning to him.
Roll maintenance.
Things I'm not good at.
His face isn't.
Which many males of my kind probably wouldn't have necessarily, so you can imagine I am mother's child. I can't say I'm not. Just seems like he's apologetic about it.
I'm wearing masks. I will not turn you out onto the street, Robin. I feel it takes some bravery to even consider helping those so opposed to someone you worship, sir. Whether by choice or not.
I should warn you all. Our friend Robin is There is. He stares at Robin. Way. It's me.
Robin raises an eyebrow and sits back down in the chair.
Reaches under his robe. Robin, you're very. Places an empty black. There's sometimes of our own. Can you tell me, out of a doubt, without a second hesitation, that if Mother told you to kill anyone here or to directly
First of all, Robin just has like his tongue pinned to his teeth, staring at that phylactery, just wide-eyed, a little bit shaky as if he wants to just reach for it. Does it look used? Does it look like it belonged to Baboom? Does it look empty? Does it look viable? Does it look like a tool? Like, can I use that? It could be filled. Robin takes a deep breath and pulls his hands across the table back towards himself, trying not to scratch the table with this intensity as this drow nature leaks through, and will respond with, I will live a very long time. Already. But I have realized that killing my friends is not a good method, and I'm pretty sure that I can manipulate my way around most situations to avoid that result. Is that... And he's just shaking.
He, like, taps it. Design with a very special purpose. Design by me. Put your blood in there. Older of the phylactery. Force you not to even rip your control away. It's a great role to. But the people. And he will motion to pulls an identical factory held by a ring.
Oh, man. And who would carry that?
That is very good. I'd have no trouble.
I suppose it begs the question, Robin, do you want to hold it?
I think the first question should be, how deep?
A sly smile spreads across Robin's face as he leans forward, making obvious eye contact and just this toothy grin with Baboon. Well, you see, there's the catch. If I'm not in control of myself, it's not really my fault anymore, is it? Someone else is to blame. Which is a pretty good method. Especially for my kind. And leans back again.
If I were to hold, I promise you, never use it. Stop you.
And do you want to hold it, or am I free to give it to somebody within the group?
Absolutely not. The vile desire to do it. Necessity. He'll look at everyone else in the table.
What does this thing look like?
It looks like a glass tube cased like silver pewter, and casement forms not a pendant, but like a three-dimensional star. It's very small. Like I said, it fit under Brunhilde's shirt. Honestly, I think this might be a really good place to end the session. Everyone's time to consider things. What do you guys think?
Sure.
I think Robin needs to choose.
Give wings sometimes to marinate on this.
I already know exactly who I would give it to, and yeah.
I mean, if she's ready to
yeah, by all means. Yeah.
He looks around the table and he reaches over and he'll go ahead and cut into one of his fingers. Be like, I don't have much blood left. Kind of chuckling a little bit to his poor self. And put a drop in it. And then he'll pick it up and kind of look at it and set it down in front of Rhea and sit down and say, your god's a good one, right?
Robin, the second you close it, feel icy grip on you.
He rubs his chest. Does it always feel like this, or does it get better?
You grow accustomed.
Since I've kind of done all of that, I would like to sleep eventually. And he's just gonna rest his head on the table and like make eye contact with Amelia for whatever comes next time of it's your turn. And just rest his head on the table, being like, I have no idea what I just got myself into. You all will release me eventually, right?
Weary looks over to Rhea. I don't believe that's my choice to make.
I wouldn't even imagine having this sort of control over someone. Of course, yes.
If it helps, you may be helping Robin as should Robin choose of his own will not to obey them, she may be kindly. Do not envy you, my friend. You're very.
However, and Murray looks up at Robin and then also glances over at Boo. Do not forget that should you be one of us, that even against gods you do not go alone. I will not let hope die, not in this house. The mother might be very powerful, but so too are the gods whose children occupy this table.
Wow. And to think, just a few months ago, didn't really believe in the gods.
Yes.
So Amelia's going to be doing something, and it's probably going to prolong this conversation a bit more.
All right.
So shall I save that for next week?
Yes, we probably should.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll end the session here. Woo.
Oh boy.
Next week, we'll figure out what the next step is.
Yeehaw.
Woo.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next
Hey.
Monday.
Thank
Oh
you.
my God. Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Bye.